All right, here we go.
Valuable company in the world right now is NVIDIA.
China gonna have to bow down, man. China is going to have to bow
Good evening, and welcome to the nightly recap powered by Gokhshtein News Network.
Good evening, and welcome to the nightly news recap powered by Gokhshtein News Network. It is good to be with you all tonight, Wednesday. I'm wearing my Nixon farming hat, but it's got a subcontext there. President Nixon, who got himself in a little corruption problems. So Elizabeth Warren, Senator Elizabeth Warren, is calling for an investigation into Trump's family over his alleged crypto dealings. Well, they're not alleged crypto dealings. There are crypto dealings over his crypto dealings and the nature of them. And this just caught my eye for a while on a couple levels. I'm not going to spend too much time on any one story, but this one's worth a minute because there's a lot of stories that happen I want to touch on today. But the Nixon hat is because this is Trump getting himself in trouble. I never believe these politicians are all clean. I don't care. Trump's not Jesus. I don't think Jesus took money from anybody. Trump does. And it worries me. And I'm Elizabeth Warren, she's trouble. She hates crypto. She doesn't get it. She's like public enemy number one in Congress on crypto. And she's taking money from people for everything. She takes money from the big banks, and then she's, doesn't like crypto, and, it's all about empowerment to the people, and remember, she's a Native American, Pocahontas, Trump called her, right? She made all that stuff up about who she was. I don't trust Elizabeth Warren at all. Not at all. But that said, the New York Times had this report on the $2 billion United Emirates investment into World Liberty Financial, WLF, the Trump family crypto firm. Now the kids run it. Well, I think Don Jr. does. And they say they need to do this because basically they got debanked. They got how much money does Trump owe in that lawsuit? 480 million or something, or is that what it is? No, it's more than that. I don't know. It's ridiculous. But the problem is that right after the U.S. approved an AI chip exports to the UAE. So $2 billion in, 2 weeks later, we authorize AI chip transfers. And some senators, most likely on the Democrat side, I don't know which, suggested there might be a little quid pro quo in there. Then it turns out that David Sachs and Steve Witkoff, David Sachs is the crypto advisor, head of the crypto task force, and Steve Witkoff's the Middle East special envoy, are alleged. Alleged means not proven yet, so let's be real careful. Alleged to have hidden financial connections to the United Arab Emirates security chief. And Witkoff's son, I didn't know this. Witkoff's son is World Liberty Financial's CEO. So after the token launch for WLF, the net worth of the Trump family went up $5 billion. And obviously the White House denies wrongdoing. Eric Trump says, we had to do this because we were debunked. And so now, Warren wants an investigation. It's an interesting story. I'm wearing the hat because you never know. I mean, I've looked at this, and I haven't looked as closely as some at the crypto dealings. And it is, you do kind of keep your eye on it and go, I mean, he's making a ton of money. And there's nothing wrong with making money. I'm a big fan of crypto. I'm a big fan of tokenization, big fan of coins. I want to launch my coin and make that kind of money. But it is suspicious timing that you launch the coin, or that you get a $2 billion investment from UAE, And then 2 weeks later, you approve these sensitive chips. Now, maybe, just maybe, you would have approved them anyway. And it's a good chip deal. I don't know. And I know there's people digging to get at him, and this is again the problem. They dug so hard for so long, for so many years, that I'm suspicious of everything now. The days of Woodward and Bernstein and my Nixon hat, which is not a Nixon, it's a farm hat, like I said, are over. Nixon was corrupt, and they went after him, and they were good journalists, and they got him, and the Pentagon Papers and all of it. But the media has been doing this for 5 years, and the courts and the Biden DOJ, and I'm not one-sided on this. They weaponized it all against him. As I love to say, that the judge who said Mar-a-Lago's really only worth $18 million. And you overvalued it, President Trump, saying it was worth $200 million. I'm sorry, I think he undervalued it. It's kind of stuff. All the cases, the Letitia James, you committed, you had an affair, you put it on, you had legal expenses to pay her off, not a crime. You put it on the books as a legal expense. Okay, were you supposed to put it on the books as pay off mistress? I don't think so. And then they turned it into a campaign contribution. The statute of limitations had expired, but they re-brought it up as a campaign contribution illegally, so it became an FEC thing. And a federal thing, so no longer state misdemeanor for putting the wrong name in the ledger, the wrong title for the expense. Now it's a federal crime, and you cheated, and now you're getting charged with a felony and convicted. It's absurd. You did it so much that we don't buy it anymore. So I don't know. Did Trump do this? Did they make a deal? You give us $2 billion, we sell you chips? I hope not. Maybe. I switch hats. Trump's a little bit of a dictator sometimes. He's marching in the troops, and we're gonna get you. I'm gonna wear this hat for a little while. It's my little, it's my little, like, what are you, a dictator? No, you're not a dictator. Yeah, I guess you could be. What are you called when you have all the power? I don't know. It was my little, it's my little Venezuela hat. It's my little Venezuela hat. Okay, I'm happy because. And I'm not judging Trump ahead of time here, and I don't know, and I don't really trust the New York Times. Although they did say I was the original spokesperson for Generation X, which is true, but doesn't mean everything they say is a lie. But they've been so out to get him, it's hard to believe what's true. It really is hard to believe, like, what is or isn't true here. Now everything they go after him for, I have to see it proven 10 times. Because everything else was a scam, for the most part. Doesn't mean he wasn't doing some bad things. But that case I just said in the New York case is absurd. Like, he had an affair. He wanted to go away. He paid her off, and he made it a wrong bookkeeping note. I mean, seriously? And that's a felony under federal law now? You twisted and tied? It'll get overturned in appeal. But anyway, Bitcoin's rebounded to 114. Woo-hoo-hoo! Go buy myself an island one day. 114. It was good. It was starting to kind of crunch down there. I was stopping to watch. I was no longer doing the watching thing, When it goes up too high or down too low, I stop watching. That's my theory. I don't check it every day. I don't check it every night. I just let it ride for a little bit. I'm like, just let it be. It's my own version. It's my own version of Michael Saylor. Buy high, buy low. Don't look at it the whole time. Just wait. But it's good to see it going back up. And I think it was important. I'm not a charts guy, and I love the people who are, and I love to follow their analysis. Like Landy on GNN, good example. And Landy, I owe you a call. I got to call you about this chart stuff. 114 seems to be a good number. And you look at the weekly highs and the weekly lows, and Landy will run you through all that stuff, and so will David. And but Landy's a super chart guy. But it's good that it's 114 is a good level. It's a key level. And on a positive note, Michael Saylor, who I have interviewed, as you've seen in the open of my show. Oh, you wouldn't see it in the recap, but if you watch the Rob Nelson live show, which is up here on that side, you'll see it there. He says we're going to have Bitcoin's going to go on a run for the end of the year, an upward run. All right. I'm for that. I was trying to see if I had a note about something I wanted to say. I do. I actually think that that's I've been saying it. I've been saying it as others. I'm not claiming that I'm some wise person about it. I talk to a lot of smart, wise people about it. I mean, I'm here because I got to know David Gokhshtein because I would talk to him about it on the street when I was interviewing people for the street for crypto and Bitcoin and Web3. And it seemed like the end of the year we were gonna see it, and that is the cycle, right? The problem is a lot of people are like, yeah, but what if the cycle's off this time? So many things have been different this time. We never had these variables before. We certainly never had major ETF funds going on. We didn't have some of the things that could affect that cycle, that halving cycle. But I still had a feeling, this is the doldrum summer months, and it did pretty good in the beginning and maybe an end of the year rally. That would be good. I'm banking on it. Meanwhile, Crypto Wendy points out that it's a great time for XRP and the Nasdaq. Bullish, great news there. And that's sort of compatible. I don't know. I'm on the fence about XRP, but here's the deal. So the SEC approved that. So they approved a generic listing of sort of generic listing standards for crypto related products and ETFs and whatnot. So they would reduce the drag, streamline the process, and altcoin ETFs and XRP would benefit from that. But also, and I didn't know this, DBS and Franklin Templeton and Ripple are collabing to allow tokenized trading of market funds and stablecoins on the XRP ledger. That is good news for XRP. So I'm wondering if maybe when I was selling off some of my XRP, thinking it wasn't going to be ever going to do it, people are always like XRP. I was like, I've been hearing XRP forever. Don't worry, I've got a third hat change coming. I might just do the hat change now. I'll save it. You're gonna be stuck with my dictator hat. Hungary, this is good. Hungary, also with a strong arm leader, is going. Oh man, this is bullshit. It's going to continue purchasing Russian oil despite U.S. pressure to stop imports. Man, this is where Trump's got to bring the hammer. China, India, Hungary, Europe. Well, Hungary is Europe, but I mean, all the European countries, they're all buying Russian oil. And, Trump made the point at the UN, at what point do you guys realize, the Europeans, you're financing the very war against yourself? You see that? You want this war to end, and you're worried it's going to come through your doorstep next, because, Ukraine and next to NATO, and you're giving the guy the money to drive the tanks toward you. Not so bright. But that's how desperate people are for cheap energy. And Putin knows that. He's like, they're all too dumb. They want cheap energy. I sell them cheap energy. They buy it. I finance my war. And eventually I take over their countries. I think Trump's got, Putin has big ambitions. I think Putin ain't stopping at Ukraine. No way. He wants the Russian Empire, the Holy Russian Empire. I don't know if it's called holy, but it sounds good. The Holy Russian Empire back and in action. And I think these planes incursions into NATO airspace, he's testing. He's going, see, you're next right here. See my little plane come in, my drones come in. You ain't doing shit about it, people. I like Trump saying shoot him down. Absolutely, they should shoot him down. They need to shoot him down. And Putin's not going to start a war when they shoot him down. It's like one more time, you fly into our airspace accidentally, with one of your aircraft and one of your drones, it goes bye-bye. Maybe Putin thinks they can't. Air forces aren't in good enough shape to do it. Maybe he thinks they won't make it. They're not on the game enough. They're not like Ukraine. Zelensky kind of thinks that. He thinks that Putin thinks the Europeans aren't really ready. They're not in war mode. Like Ukraine's in war mode. Interesting that Trump at the UN says he's going to now back Zelensky and Ukraine. He's pissed at Putin. He's like, Putin played me. I'll give people credit who said Putin was playing him. They were right. I thought he was too, but I think Trump thought he was playing him back better. Putin got what he wanted. He got time, stalled, tripled down his offensive on cities and things, more drones, more missiles, more attacks on civilians. And he got pictures. This is one thing I hadn't really thought of. And Zelensky made me realize it. He got pictures of him all over with Donald Trump. Now, if you're in the wacky left liberal media, you're like, oh, see, Trump likes that. His ego, too. He got pictures. Putin didn't do it for ego. Trump didn't do it for ego. Trump wanted to get a Nobel Peace Prize. He wanted to be the guy to put it together. Putin played nice because Putin wanted to be able to go back to his country. Because that war is dragging them down. It is hurting. And although he's like in power forever, so to speak, it doesn't help when he can lose support of the key people underneath who could remove him. The military, he sort of took care of that problem in one way. But still, the oligarchs. And ultimately, he can't have the whole country hate him. So he goes back and goes, look, Trump's on our side. He gets it. He's not having Zelensky here. It's just me and him. And we're buddy on this. And he gets it. And he gets it. We're going to have to swap territories when this ends. So, we're in the right here, everybody. Putin, that's what Putin wanted. Domestic win on that. And stalling. But I think Trump sees it now. And he's like, I'm done. But if everybody buys the oil, Russia can keep fighting. So Hungary, bad on you. China, India, they're going to do it. The only answer to them is massive tariffs. Which brings me to another China topic. Good, I'll keep this on. Xi Jinping, he's a little dictator guy too. Is that Trump's issued an executive order approving the authorizing the Bitcoin, the Binance, the TikTok deal, the ByteDance, the TikTok deal, and the divestiture framework. So, it allows TikTok to move from ByteDance in China to a U.S. run entity. And that would equal, under the law, that would satisfy the divestiture requirement for foreign controlled apps, platforms. The question is, it's not clear how much of the algorithm China and ByteDance have to part with. How much of the data collecting and the algorithm do they actually give up? They have to give up control of the company. And you think they're going to just give up that algorithm that easy? I don't think so. And that's not clear in the order. And I think Trump wants TikTok for a lot of reasons. And I think he likes it. And he likes that he got a lot of young voters on it. And it's good for his politics. But you got to be careful because they're going to know what they're going to give up there. And you can't let China keep that algorithm. They are totally effing with every one of us. They are not, like I said in my last show, just using the algorithms, as a way to make money. They're using it as a way to manipulate and control people. Get me worked up on that. All right, what else I got here? I got more. Let's see. Iran's supreme leader accuses us of lying. Oh, really? Issuing military threats. True. Carrying out assassinations. Behind Israel, probably true. And maybe on our own, but certainly, behind Israel, yeah. And bombing nuclear facilities. Definitely true. Boom. Therefore, Iran cannot negotiate or make agreements with us. I can't work with such a party. I love it when the least moral get on the highest moral horse. Let me see, Iran. Do you lie? Oh, probably you've lied just about every time, about everything with us. Huh. Do you issue military threats all the time? Do you carry out assassinations? Yes, you do. You also took over our embassy. You also kill people in your own streets for dent and chop their hands off and kill women for just being women. It's an exaggeration, but whatever. You do not bomb nuclear facilities because you can't. Otherwise, you would. Iran's broken every agreement they've made with us. I've been saying this for 15 years. They've been working to build a nuclear bomb and lying about it and keeping inspectors out for a decade and a half. Almost 2 decades. All they do is lie. And they sponsor state terror everywhere. Hezbollah, Hamas. What am I missing? The Houthis. The Houthis are like the pirates. Bomb the little guys. No, but they sponsor the state terrorism everywhere. And they'd like nothing better than to get a suitcase nuke into the U.S. They're bigger liars than Putin. So wow, but they can't make agreements with us. The reality is they are going to start trying to re-enrich uranium and take the stockpiles they have and work at rebuilding their centrifuges. And they want time and they want no one to watch because we're only doing it for peaceful purposes, even though we're enriching it like 50 times past what peaceful purposes are. But don't look at what we do. Look at what we say. Right? How'd that work out? Okay, this is an interesting one. I got so many more to go, but how am I doing here for time? I'm all right. I got 10 more minutes. Trump promises in a call with Arab and Muslim leaders he wouldn't permit Prime Minister Netanyahu, Bibi, to annex the West Bank. I think it's a good move. I think sometimes it's important because I worry Netanyahu will just do whatever he wants, and I get it, and I'm pro-Israel. But, you're going too far with annexing the West Bank's a bad idea. I'm mixed on the ground offensive, and I'm devastated at the loss of life in Gaza. It is not the Palestinian people's fault that Hamas is embedded like cockroaches in their world, although a lot of them have been radicalized now too. So now it has become an indigenous problem as well. But again, I've said, if you're Israel, you got this country, and you had all the other Arab countries before it, just all out for you, all out to get the little guy in the corner and knock him into the wall and make sure he never gets up again. Iran's not next door, but right there behind it, pushing. And, you had Saudi Arabia, you had Egypt and Jordan and all those guys, and over decades, peace treaties have been made. Jordan, Egypt, that goes back to Carter. Clinton got in there, Trump and the Abraham Accords. But Hamas, even in the Palestinian Liberation Organization, bad stuff there. So you're getting payback, and it sucks. And I hate to put it that way, but you threatened and attacked, and I know evil and the bad goes both ways. And Netanyahu has hardly got clean hands. He's got blood-soaked hands, and he's got his own political motives. But same idea of the Trump stuff with going after him too much in the beginning. You went after Israel again and again and again and again and again, threatened their existence on the world stage, at the UN, everywhere, fighting, attacking terrorist movements into them. And you did it again October 7th. And now you're getting payback. Now Netanyahu's like, now, whether it's you giving me a justification or did I even need one because I was already ready? And this is also for Israel, even if I have my own self-interest. We're coming for you. And we ain't stopping till you're gone. So I like that Trump's going, yep, but we're not going to let you annex the whole thing. I got, Bibi and I are partners here. We're working together. More interesting, well, not more interesting, but more fun, the escalator thing and the teleprompter. Okay, let's just be clear. And Trump was funny when he said, I come to the UN and what do I get? An escalator that doesn't work and a teleprompter that doesn't work. And it's like, no problem, because I can walk up the stairs and unlike Joe Biden, and I can give a speech without a teleprompter, unlike Joe Biden. So I'll be just fine. If you think for 1 second that shit was accidental, you're smoking something. It was all intentional. And they even said there's some chatter that, people had said, someone's found text threads or whatever saying, maybe so we'll turn the power off when Trump comes in on the escalator so he has to walk. Oh, he didn't just happen to get on the escalator and the escalator stopped. And he just happens to get up the stage and the teleprompter breaks down. I mean, it's possible. That's some serious coincidence, man. That's like winning the lottery twice. It's like winning the lottery once. No, twice, I guess. Whatever. It didn't happen coincidentally. It happened intentionally. And they're going to look into it and whatever. Some people will be fired. I think it's symptomatic, though. It's representative of the UN's relationship in the U.S. I used to really believe in the UN. I went to college a long time ago, and the UN, I believed in it, years and years ago. And that was a great idea. It's not like I went to school when they made it, but I get why they made it after World War II. I understand the origins of it in the mid 40s. But now it's just an expensive, broken, corrupt institution that doesn't really solve any problems. It does do a few things. I'm not going to lie. It does. There are some programs on it that are useful. But for the most part, no. And it certainly doesn't serve America's interests very much. We pay a lot of money. We host it in New York. It's a platform for a lot of people who hate us to jump all over us. It really doesn't get much done in the world. I don't know. I mean, at this point, I was a big believer and I understood how it was built and why. I think at this point, I don't know that it serves our interests. And I don't think that it's actually, like I said, I don't think it's very effective. It's hyper politicized. And I could be wrong. Someone could convince me there are things it does that are good for the world, but I don't know. I mean, there's some relief agency stuff, but even that's been all co-opted. So I just don't know. But it's sort of perfect representation. The elevator stops, the teleprompter stops. You know what? Doesn't stop Trump. Doesn't stop the U.S. president. He walks up the steps, gives a speech without it. So see, sort of maybe we don't need it so much after all. Okay. I got a lot of other stories, but I think I think this is the one I gotta do. I think this is the one I have to do. I've been saving this one, and I got to find some notes here, but I think this is mine. This is the one I want. I got to switch my hats. Yeah. Oh, the ICE facility shooting. Shoot. It's a heavy one. That wasn't what this hat is for. There was an ICE facility shooting. I'll keep it simple. This is what's happening. We're weaponizing. Like I said, the Charlie Kirk assassination was a wake-up call, cultural inflection point, beginning of some kind of a civil war. We're going to see more of this, not less. It's unfortunate. I think I should keep this hat on. It's unfortunate, but it's not going to change. It's only going to get worse. I'm not a fan of the masks on the ICE agents. Had a conversation with a friend of mine about it. I get it. They don't want to be doxxed. But, you can't say that all the protesters at the campuses and stuff should get their masks off. And these ICE agents shouldn't. And I get it. I get not wanting their identities to be revealed. But police with their faces masked like that, coming in and they're grabbing people, like they're not even grabbing people like shooting at them. They're grabbing people who are living here illegally, okay, but nonetheless, their crime is living here illegally. And they're coming in, and it's scary with the masking thing, and I don't like it. I don't like the feel it has. I don't like the authoritarian feel it has. Not a fan. No, no, no. I will say this, though, Gavin Newsom. You get what you seed, seeds you sow. Weren't you the one that made us all wear masks? I lived in California for the first year of the pandemic. You made me put that stupid mask on everywhere I went. Oh, yeah. No, not everywhere. That's right. Oh, yeah. On the beach, yes. You had to do it on the beach. Couldn't go on the beach. Even with a mask on, couldn't go on the beach. Right. That was insane. You had to wear the mask everywhere, except you didn't have to wear the mask when you sat down at a restaurant to eat with your friends. No, let's think of the logic of that. If I walk through the restaurant to the bathroom, I have to wear the mask. I'm on the move. But if I sit with a group of people who are not all 6 feet away from me, they're at my table. So if we're on some big royal table, then I can take the mask off. So you made us wear those stupid masks, so now you want the masks off? I don't know. You get what you asked for. You get what you did. Okay, my final thing. Kamala Harris. Woo, woo, woo. That's why I got the Legends Live Forever, because she is a legend in her own mind. That woman is a legend in her own mind. I can do this quick. She tells you she didn't have enough time to win the 2024 presidential race, and that's the problem. I knew that was coming. I didn't have enough time. Got to fix my hat here. I didn't have enough time. Oh, really? Wow. Excuses. Number one thing don't do, make excuses. We didn't have enough time to win the game. We could have used an extra quarter. We didn't have enough guys who weren't injured. We had backup players. They didn't step up, but we didn't have the guys. You make all these. She literally makes excuses. She's now lashing out at Biden's team for adding fuel to negative narratives against her. The most important thing she's asked, why you lost. Most important reason you lost. The most important. Now, you could argue time was a reason. The most important reason, not enough time. And then asked about the interview follow-up on The View where Sunny Houston asked her, what would you do different if you were president for Biden? And she says nothing. And Sunny thinks she's throwing her a softball. Sunny thinks she's out here in a major league and she's doing an underhand toss to the batter so he can just make sure he hits it completely out of the park, not just into the stands, into the bleachers. And she says nothing. She says, "Really? Are you sure? Think about it. I'm giving you a second chance. Sorry, you missed the first pitch. I don't know how, but here's the second one." And she says, "No." They asked her on The View if that moment is the moment that tipped the election. And she insists, no, 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 no. The answer is yes, 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 yes. We all saw it. Everyone was like, you literally just you gave anyone on the fence a reason not to vote for you. Because if Biden was unpopular, everybody knew that. That's why they put Kamala Harris in. It's the very reason they put her in, because he wasn't popular enough to win. And then you're going to say you do nothing different, so you didn't really put anybody in. You still got Biden. So obviously the turning point. Not the only reason she lost, but the turning point. She says, no, 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 but here's where it kills me. And then she starts breaking out giggling, and they all laugh. And she's like, hey, thing. And I was like, this is why you're not president. That, and because you're throwing everyone under the bus, and that does not make a good leader. Just think about sports. If the coach threw every player under the bus, well, how good a coach would that be? What does a good coach do? He says, first and foremost, if we lost, it's my fault. No one else's. Now, that doesn't mean other people couldn't have done things better and didn't make some mistakes. But if we lose, A, we lose as a team. I'm the head of the team. B, the loss is on me. That's what a good coach says. That's what a good leader says. That's what a good general says. That's what a good CEO says. And that's what a good president would say. Kamala Harris, you proved, as if you hadn't done a good enough job already, exactly why you would be a terrible leader and a horrible president of the United States. All right, that's the nightly recap. Thanks for watching.
Valuable company in the world right now is NVIDIA.
China gonna have to bow down, man. China is going to have to bow down.
Good evening, and welcome to the nightly recap powered by Gokhshtein News Network.